This week on the Too Heavy Wrestling Podcast. No, it's what you mean to say is all talent, no charisma.
All talent, no charisma? Yeah. He doesn't even know how to use that all the time.
Why does it sound like a child's interpretation of Grayson Waller?
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Too Heavy Wrestling Podcast. Coming at you this week, we got Randy, we got Clayton, we got Eddie. A much better week in wrestling this week than it was last week, that's for sure.
Indubitably.
So we're going to talk about a little bit of Raw, a little bit of SmackDown, and then we're going to start the beginnings of our SummerSlam predictions. We're going to be doing a lot of SummerSlam over the next couple weeks because that's the next big four pay-per-view. So do you guys want to go through SmackDown or Raw first?
The smacketh of the down.
Let's smack those downs. Is that what he says? What does he say on the smacker down?
Let's smack I knew you were talking about Simon Miller. Let's smack the ups and down the downs.
Down the first smacker down or whatever. I'm not British. It doesn't sound right.
Simon Miller from What Culture?
You don't watch What Culture?
No, I don't.
You're crazy. You should
clinically insane.
Clinically insane?
Look, Too Heavy is the #1 wrestling podcast resource available for everyone.
In these United States of America.
Yeah, but What Culture?
Is that a British one?
Yeah, #1 in Britain, #2 in America. I give him a wink. All right, so SmackDown, we're not going in any particular order. We're just talking about the highlights. So first, we wanted to touch on the status of the United States Championship. Now, Clayton, the WWE does have a United States Championship.
Oh, who is it?
Austin Theory. Do you know who that is?
Who's that?
I can tell you who Austin
I was just
Theory
saying,
is.
Eddie, go ahead real quick.
Imagine if you gave someone a lot of talent and they just didn't know how to use it. And then you have a title just because they're so talented, but they're gimmicks from Atlanta. Let's talk about that again.
Oh no. It's what you mean to say is all talent, no charisma.
All talent, no charisma? Yeah. He doesn't even know how to use that all the time. Atlanta.
Why does it sound like a child's interpretation of Grayson Waller?
Because Grayson Waller's way better at everything. He should be United States champion, sure. But not before our megastar.
We'll get to that. We'll get to there.
Yeah.
So WWE, I think, has realized how monumentally they've messed up the United States Championship by putting it on Theory, because they are making a very big deal of this tournament and all of the players involved in it. So this week's match was a fatal 4-way to determine who's going to be a part of the United States Championship match. I think at SummerSlam. And this week's fatal 4-way was AJ, Santos, Butch, and Grayson Waller.
Butch, funny.
Butch.
Butch.
Sounds like a slur. I'm gonna be honest. It sounds like a slur when you say it. But
Butch.
continue.
Overall, the match was really good. It wasn't as clunky as some of the matches we got last week. There was a lot of backstage heat amongst a lot of wrestlers because of how clunky some of the matches were. But this one was put together pretty well.
You put 4 really strong competitors in the ring, and they're going to do well. Maybe we should do that more often.
Yeah, so
I'd also say it's probably the first multi-person match in a while. I gotta keep remembering about my head turn. First multi-person match in a while where the correct, not for the storytelling perspective, but from a momentum perspective, the correct winner was chosen, Santos, and the person who took the pin could actually take the pin, Grayson.
Yeah. So
He took the pin, though. That makes me sad.
Well, so the thing is, he wasn't originally going to win. AJ Styles was originally going to win. But right as AJ Styles was getting the pin, Karrion Kross was shown in the back attacking the OC. He had already laid out Luke Gallows and he was choking out Carl Anderson. So AJ left the match to go tend to that. So we're actually not done with the whole AJ Styles Karrion Kross thing.
Okay, that wasn't the only thing that happened that last night, right? Or was that?
That's the only thing
That's
that
the only
happened.
thing. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, so apparently we're going to readdress the Karrion Kross AJ thing. Even though it seemed like that feud was over, but I guess it's not.
Look,
And maybe they'll get the time they need to have a
maybe-
proper match.
Maybe they'll put Karrion over. That makes sense to me.
But Eddie, you gave up.
I did give up because I thought you were going to disappoint me because you're like,
No.
hey Eddie, do you know what happened?
To borrow a phrase from somebody that I work with from this week, in a very adjacent timeline to this one, we could have a Hellscape title picture where Karrion Kross has the gold belt and Austin Theory is still the United States champion.
Yeah. It could be that could have been the case, but it's not. That's not this one. In this one, we got a Karrion Kross call up that originally looked like a sex slave deal with all the leather straps, and then he got let go and then brought back and mishandled a little bit this time around. I think this AJ feud, if they don't get it right here either, then everyone's gonna give up, not just Eddie.
Random thought, my life would be a lot more complete if Austin Theory literally wasn't in the WWE.
Or if he was better, one of the two. Do you not want to wish any positive thoughts
I
on
feel
him?
like
It's
I'd
all
have a
negative.
mansion, maybe. Like,
Oh, all right.
I feel
That's
like my life would just be so
in
much...
Atlanta.
No, not in Atlanta. No, he'd probably still have that gimmick for some reason.
It's not even Austin Theory's fault. He's just miscast.
That's true.
Like
Austin
he cut
Theory.
they did like a little backstage vignette, and I see exactly what John Cena is talking about in that when he's saying stuff, he himself does not believe what he's saying.
Yeah.
He himself does not have any confidence behind what he's saying. He knows that his character sucks and wants to do something different and can't.
Do you think he wants to go back to being the bumbling idiot of the way?
That worked. He looks like one. Make him one.
Here's the thing about Austin Theory, and I don't say this very often. I think he should be a face.
In the way, I think he could have been a face.
That's the thing. I don't think he should be this character, but face. I think he should have a character revamp, maybe a little adjacent to this character, take away the Atlanta part, but keep the swagger to it.
What is this?
Is
this Atlanta?
he can
That's
get rid
A-Town
of that.
down.
Yeah, that's A-Town down, dog.
He goes like this, and then
And then he gives the little. No, he does the two fingers. man. Come
A-Town
on.
down.
Yeah,
A-Town.
A-Town.
Oh my god, I
And then
hate him.
Here's the deal: repackage him as a face, and I think he's gonna go over.
Hot take: Austin Theory should, as a character, function in a very similar role as Santino Marella without the cross-dressing.
Like, I feel like he'd be a really good accountant, but maybe not wrestler. You know?
Okay, so you've given up on him entirely in wrestling. He should really get into, like, I don't know, marketing.
Yeah, like I feel like he'd be great at marketing.
So you think that he has enough charisma to have someone else portray the ideas, but not him himself?
He should be what Jillian Hall was for JBL for someone else.
That's a
Oh,
name I haven't heard in a while.
JBL. He was on TV like last
Yeah,
year.
dude. Are you okay?
Jillian Hall.
Oh,
He was.
yeah.
Jillian Hall. Out of the two names said in that, out of the two names where you both went with JBL, that's
Actually-
nuts.
I know, that's funny. All right, so Santos Escobar wins, but we do get a promo later in the night from the person who probably is going to be the next U.S. champion, Mr. L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
And in particular, again, when his entrance hit, huge pop. Pretty basic promo, just, comes out, does the greatest hits of LA Knight, gives us the yeah and the let me talk to you, and then I'm going to be the next US champ. And he kind of swerved heel for a second with like, everyone's talking about me, I don't really care, and then brought it right back to he's probably going to be face moving forward. I think we're waiting on a turn moment, I would say, because right now he hasn't really done anything on camera. And I say on camera because we've all seen the million viewed clip of him taking out Hit Row.
Yeah.
But
Good
on
old flop
camera,
dollar.
yeah. So, but on camera, we're still waiting on him to like make an ultimate decision that has him march fully face moving forward, and I'm hoping that's against Austin Theory.
You want to do a new segment that I just thought of like 2 seconds ago? Who better than Top Dollar? So I'm gonna give you some names.
Canyon.
Canyon.
Sorry, that was his phrase. Who better than Canyon? Sorry, go
Yeah, I
on.
don't think he took that from whatever. So who better than Top Dollar? So let's see.
Austin Theory.
I could probably name past, present, and in the pipe 150 wrestlers off the top of my head that are better than Top
Why
Dollar.
does he say nobody?
There's people still in the NFL that are better than Top Dollar at wrestling already right now.
Like,
So why does he say nobody every time?
he's
Because he has to believe in himself, man.
Austin doesn't.
Whatever. All right, we're moving on. We did get an interesting Street Profits promo backstage. I don't even want to say promo. They didn't really do too much talking. There was a backstage segment that saw the return of Bobby Lashley. When was the last time we saw Bobby Lashley?
Been
I
a
think
while.
we'd seen him since Mania, right?
I don't think we have.
Because he wasn't actually at Mania, but he was at the weekend before or whatever.
He won the Battle Royal.
Yeah,
Then I don't think we saw
he
him after
carried the
that.
trophy,
yeah,
and then
that
yeah,
was it. Well, maybe that was the way of burying that trophy. So Street Profits are walking back in the parking lot. Bobby Lashley pulls up in a big limo. He hugs them, and then they all get in the limo and they drive away. So it was just a seed planting. Hey, these three are together. I'm hoping that the phrase hurt business doesn't get used with these guys, because I don't think
Unless MVP, Cedric, and Shelton are there. You
yeah,
can use
unless
it,
it's
bro.
unless it's those five. Well, I guess it would be six. Unless it's those six, then it can be hurt business. But if Shelton and Cedric aren't involved, I hope they use a new name.
somebody's got a job.
What does that mean?
I have a job.
I have a job.
Somebody's got a job on Raw and SmackDown, so that's a role for Cedric and Shelton.
Oh, someone has to job. Okay, that's what you said. That they don't deserve that. You know who deserves that? Austin Theory. Let's bring that back around and talk. No.
I mean, if not believing in yourself and looking like you should be on a marketing team makes you a United States champion, then I feel like I should be a United States champion as well, you know?
I'm so upset I brought that back. Okay. So seed planted for something between Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits on SmackDown. I don't know about you guys. I'm actually really excited to see what that's going to be, though. Because I don't think WWE has enough factions right now.
Did you get heel energy or face energy?
Face energy,
Okay. I like
which
that.
I don't know if that's a swerve or if I just misread the room on that one, but I got a little bit of face energy on it.
You don't think there's enough factions right now?
No, that was sarcasm.
Okay.
There's plenty of factions. But I think this one would be very good.
I would take them. The Street Profits being packaged with Bobby Lashley in any way would make me conceivably believe Sammy and Kevin are going to drop the titles this calendar year.
Right. So I was thinking that, but also, I mean, if we're just being honest, the Bloodline is not a faction anymore,
Right.
right? Like they're essentially split at this point into at minimum 2 different tag teams, and Jimmy's out on injury, and Solo is probably just going to sideline for a one-on-one match. I don't want to be too bold, but I do think that the combination of Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits could supersede the Bloodline faction as the top faction in WWE. Granted, we have the Judgment Day right now, and they're doing really well. They have the Money in the Bank, and they have a women's world title. But I think long term, I could see Judgment Day being the top faction of Raw, and this new faction being the top faction of SmackDown, and I would actually see them being slightly more, depending on who else gets added to it.
Mm-hmm.
If they get a mouthpiece a la MVP, I could see it.
They need a mouthpiece.
I don't think they need one, but it's nice when factions have one.
Give Montez Ford some more reps with the mic.
I just don't want him to be heel because I like how flamboyant that Montez is with his character, and like how he does just so much with it. I like the
agree.
Running Man. I like the cups. I like all of it. It's a great character that is underutilized right now.
You don't think he couldn't maintain all the antics as a heel?
don't think it'd be as big. Like, Hurt Business isn't goofy, silly, dancing around. Like, and if they try to bring back the Hurt Business, it's something where I couldn't see all of that. Like,
there's no guarantee that this is the Hurt Business.
No.
There's not even a guarantee this is going to be a heel
if it is a
faction.
heel faction, Bobby Lashley's not goofy, silly, dance around. Like, and like as your leader, I feel like you would need something like that.
I see what you're saying. I look at it as though the goofy, the silliness, the playing to the crowd is the face aspect of it.
Yeah.
But you can take those exact same antics and do it more mocking with an edge to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it works seamlessly as a heel.
If instead of taking those cups and handing it to fans, you kind of dangle it and wiggle it and then throw it at them,
Mhm.
like you get
Something like
little tweaks.
If it was like a faction that, let's say Seth Rollins just makes a faction, yes, I could see that because he's goofy, dancing. His character works face and heel.
Don't
Yeah.
disrespect the Messiah, Seth Rollins.
The Messiah Seth Rollins was different. In that situation, no, you couldn't have used goofy, dancing, silly. In what he has right now, yes, you can do goofy, dancing, silly, and mocking way. And I feel like that type of energy would match that perfectly. Hold on, wait, he's got something good, I can tell. Zach, zoom in on his face.
No,
Okay,
I
zoom out now.
just thought maybe if we needed a mouthpiece for this new faction,
Okay, hold on. Okay, go on.
maybe a female mouthpiece wouldn't be a bad idea.
Nikki Cross, I agree. Who wants to play with the Hurt
That's not what I
Business?
That's not what I was going with, but we
Jesus
can
Christ.
we just have that idea and move on.
Yep. Good call.
Nikki Cross is who I was talking about. All right, so speaking of the women's division, did you have any final thoughts before I move to
No,
song?
I don't have any final thoughts of who wants to play with Nikki inside the Hurt Business.
I never said inside the Hurt Business. No.
Okay, let's not throw the name the Hurt Business at this potential
I said,
new
who wants
faction.
to
We
play
don't
with
know
the
that that's
Hurt
what it's going to be.
Business?
Sorry about that. There was something wrong with one of the cameras.
We're back from our commercial break. Nice to see you.
But moving on, we got Bianca versus Asuka, which was a good match until it wasn't.
I would challenge the perspective and the original results. We got Bianca and Charlotte and Io and Bailey, and Asuka's kind of there too.
She very much was. So there was a promo earlier in the night where Charlotte came out and was like, Bianca, I'm so confident you're going to win that I'm already challenging you to a match at SummerSlam for the belt. And I was like, are we really just...
Can we talk about how awkward that was? Like how
Yeah.
it did not work at all?
Not only did it not work, but it's like, so we're just completely on screen cutting out the legs out from under Asuka.
Austin Theory, Charlotte.
Dude, I hate Charlotte because here, and actually, Bianca said something last night during her promo that made me so happy that someone within WWE is finally acknowledging this. She goes, well, Charlotte, everyone knows the line begins and ends with you on title shots. So, and I was just like, yes. I felt so validated. It's crazy how ridiculous it is that she just kind of shows up and gets a title shot.
I think the fact that she's won more titles than had like actual good title reigns has lowered her. Like if she had 5 good title reigns, that would have been fine. But
I've said it so many times. Instead of 14 world title reigns and most of them are under 3 months, you have 5 or 6 and they're 9 months to a year.
Charlotte Flair for her career is what everybody thought John Cena was in 2006 to 2010.
Yeah. She's a freaking menace to the world title picture.
I'd never had an issue with John Cena. And
I
his
didn't
spot
either.
No, but the perception of John Cena,
Yeah.
Like
that is what Charlotte is right now. Or
but people booed John Cena, but still liked him and still like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's a cool move. Well, Charlotte's like, eh. I mean,
That's because Charlotte is still relatively active in her career, but acting like it's twilighting and that she's 1 foot out the door.
Dar.
Dar.
No,
All the Dar.
No, I'm Dar.
But the match itself, Bianca versus Asuka, ended in a DQ because Charlotte went to go spear Bailey or Io, one or the other.
She went to go spear Io outside the ring, and Io laid her right into Bianca.
Yeah, and it just the whole thing fell out, and I'm assuming we're gonna get a triple threat
Charlotte ruined
between
something
Asuka,
again.
Bianca, and Charlotte and anyone but the hashtag anyone but Charlotte. Let's start it. Let's get it trending. Hashtag too heavy.
Yo, her
hashtag
gimmick's
anyone
kinda
but
she's from
Charlotte.
Charlotte because her name's Charlotte. Austin Theory move
Yeah, her whole gimmick is that her gimmick
from the Queen City.
Her gimmick is that she's Ric Flair's daughter pretending not to be Ric Flair's daughter and then woos at people. That's her gimmick.
I just want to say this is why I didn't want Io Sky to win Money in the Bank, because Io and Asuka is literally right there. And if you're not doing it at SummerSlam, which they're not, I don't trust booking the Survivor Series.
Look, I'll tell you this much right
or
now.
whenever Io cashes in, quote unquote.
When was the first women's Money in the Bank? 2016, 2017? What year was that, Eddie?
17.
2017?
Yeah.
So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I count on my fingers. 23. 7. We're at the 7th women's Money in the Bank, and as of this year, they still have a 100% cash-in rate.
I'm going to tell you, my favorite thing about Money in the Bank was the genuine happiness on Io Shirai's face.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was the, like, you don't see that from a lot of people because they have to maintain character, and technically she's a heel, but you saw how happy and, like, genuine her reactions were. I'm like, and I saw a replay of that yesterday. I'm like, that is the sweetest thing ever.
Well, and she also already has the second longest Money in the Bank reign, like something like that, I assume. So she's already done more with it than a lot of people have. But ultimately, I feel like maybe they'll choose this year for a failed cash-in.
I don't want her.
I don't want her either.
Nikki would have been the best choice.
Yeah.
Nikki ASH
that didn't
sucks.
happen.
Nikki Cross.
All of that. What was that faction called?
Blacked?
Sanity. No, it was called Sanity. Just. I hate you so much. We have to have that cut too.
We don't. We're keeping that one.
Okay. We're not gonna have a second set of technical difficulties. All right. Moving on.
If you say it again, I'm just gonna get pissed off, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we gotta not ruin our episodes here. Bloodline promo. Jey Uso comes out, gets real uppity at Roman Reigns, and then Paul Heyman and Solo come out, and they set up a segment for next week called the Rules of Engagement, where Jey Uso and Roman Reigns are going to get together and I guess talk about the rules of their match, as if it's going to be any different than a normal match or a no DQ. I don't know. I'm not really sure what they're planning for next week, but it sounds interesting, I guess.
It sounds interesting because Roman's going to be there. Since the splintering, the segments just aren't as good when Roman's not involved.
That's true. You kind of, it feels like he needs to be there, and when he's not, it's very like, oh, he couldn't be bothered to show up to this town.
For me, a watcher, whether live or with clips, it breaks my suspension of disbelief that Paul Heyman's going to be blah, 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 doing great Paul Heyman stuff. Literally the Vince McMahon character, just Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
But then Jay's not going to immediately start wailing on Solo. Like, I don't give a damn what you're talking about. Our brother's in the hospital because of him. Like, no, I'm going to start whooping you right now.
Yeah, I thought it was a choice to have Jey Uso not attack Solo on site.
Well, if they're going to, they need to build it up, and I agree with the build up. Like, if you're going to have like complete outbreak, like you just had one last week, there's nothing wrong with getting in some fights here and there, but the outbreak has to be on Roman.
Yeah.
Like, you can get Solo involved in said outbreak, but Roman needs to be there.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have, like, Paul did take a very good kick.
Yeah, Jey Uso gave Paul Heyman a super kick, and that felt like it was a necessary next step in evolution in the storyline, was Paul Heyman take a bump.
Paul taking bumps is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And Paul would take a unprotected chair shot if he could, to make something look as real as possible, because that man is psychotic and so into kayfabe that it is completely unreal.
Yeah.
Picking the coordinates scares me every time.
I know, I'm sorry.
All in all, even though I can clearly see weaknesses in the segment, I did like the segment.
It did what it needed to do.
Yeah.
It moved us forward
Yeah.
into next week, and next week I think will be because now that we're in this weird pseudo aftermath of the bloodline, it's gonna have peaks and valleys. This week was a valley. Next week will probably peak. We'll move from there.
SummerSlam's far away too. I feel like it just feels farther than normal pay-per-views are.
Let me check SummerSlam in 2023 real quick.
That'd be start of August, isn't it?
Oh, it's at the start of August.
It's usually August, yeah.
It's normally like mid-August or like end of August.
SummerSlam 2023 is set for August 5th, so we're about 3 weeks out.
Never mind. I thought it was going to be like the end of August. Dang, there's still a lot to pack in a couple weeks then.
I mean, we got 3 weeks, 2
Our
weeks,
little
3 weeks?
megastar still hasn't been announced.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
he's
3
part of
weeks
the-
today.
He's part of the qualifying match for next week.
Oh, there are 2 qualifying matches.
Yeah, there's a qualifying
Who's
match
the
for
Fatal
next
4-Way
week.
match include that next week?
That is
Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, LA Knight, and I don't know the fourth one. But we'll get there.
yeah, and then on the go home show, it should be Santos versus that winner to go on to face
Okay.
Theory at SummerSlam.
Then I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow turn that into a triple threat, and then they'll have the other person drop the title to LA Knight so that Austin Theory stays protected. Because
Yeah.
right now, I think they want to protect Austin Theory.
Let's give some bold predictions too.
Well, we have a prediction section. We got to get through Raw first.
Oh.
I know. Raw wasn't that bad this week.
No, it wasn't.
Not at all.
Beginning with SummerSlam, though, Cody Rhodes does challenge Brock Lesnar to a SummerSlam match on Raw. So there's our third match of the trilogy. Can you do that, but more dramatic? Who cares?
I will say I like from Cody Rhodes' promo in story, they basically said Brock has started this for no reason.
Well, it's 100% what happened. Yeah, it just didn't make sense.
So
Brock was literally in the ring with Roman, a person who he's feuded on and off with for like 5 years, and he decided to attack Cody instead. It made no sense at the time. Makes no sense now.
I want you to be my partner. Okay. Honestly, bro,
Yeah. Like,
I was about
But-
to say a bad word. I'm not allowed to say. But you get the gist. F you, he says.
But we're going to
That
we're gonna
wasn't
get
bad. Get over it.
No, I'm trying not to say the other word.
No, I know. I can't
Yeah.
say the other word.
But,
But this isn't family friendly anymore.
you guys good?
Let's get back to Austin.
Oh, no, we're not getting back to Austin Theory. So Cody versus Brock at SummerSlam is probably going to happen. We'll get a little bit more into that once we get to SummerSlam predictions. My favorite segment of the night, Maxine Dupree gets a graduation ceremony. Good job, Maxine.
Congratulations, Maxine.
Congratulations, Maxine.
Every time I want to say get really passionate, I can't
Yeah.
say the word. Actually,
What word?
is the A word a bad word? You think I can pull that one off?
I don't know.
Let's flip a coin. Let's just flip a coin.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Siri, heads or tails? Heads. Okay. Bum ass Valhalla just pulled up and took her jacket.
Yeah, it was really upsetting. So, it was a really cool graduation ceremony for Maxine Dupree because she graduated from the Alpha Academy, and they gave her a Letterman jacket. But before she could complete putting it on, Valhalla stole it from her. So now I guess Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders are going to feud over a Letterman jacket in the year of our Lord 2023.
The Viking Raiders need something because they're not there to do anything. They are what FTR was right before they left.
Yeah.
Dude, also another thing. When Maxine was doing this thing with Maxim male models, I was like, they don't know. I don't know why they called her up. She didn't even do anything on NXT before that, I'm pretty sure, except maybe 1 or 2 additional things.
I think she was originally called up as
She
a
was with,
manager.
Robert Stone as a co-manager for Von Wagner.
Oh, okay.
Ew, yeah, whatever.
You're
And
just saying names at me. I don't.
You know who Von Wagner is. Who cares? So,
Yeah.
like,
I'll indulge you, yeah.
goes up.
Mhm.
Maxim male models. What she's doing now, I'm like, night and day. Absolutely. Like, you are killing it. Like, for the look that she was trying to go for before, it made sense. But now
Yeah.
it's like, I want to see more of what you can do. And your first actual wrestling match. That was her actual first wrestling match, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's very weird that they're.
Yeah, fantastic for her.
We have an entire performance center and we have an entire NXT filled with people that have gone through the indies and put in all of the work, and then Maxine Dupree comes in and gets her first match
And
ever
killed it.
on Raw, does decent, and gets a win. I never thought that would happen again once we got the Performance Center in NXT, but I guess
She took
we're
a
still
knee
doing
from
it.
Valhalla too. That was like so.
I'm not,
bad.
and look, I understand my tone. I wasn't exactly
Yeah.
mad or upset about it,
Mhm.
but I don't think that it should be happening anymore. I think we should be having people go through the proper channels to wrestle on Monday Night Raw.
I think she should have spent more time in NXT
Yeah.
besides the manager gimmick.
You know, maybe have a match on NXT.
Yeah, that would have been nice too. But
Yeah.
like,
Man. Continue. Sorry. I was thinking about NXT as a whole.
NXT as a whole
Good luck.
has consistently started getting better to me. It has been getting better from
Yeah.
what they went away with Black and Gold. They did this NXT 2.0, and they went back to Black and Gold, and it started clearly getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
They are
And then they did NXT Underground.
NXT Underground, which bravo, they did better than Raw Underground. That's for dang
100%.
sure.
Gable Stevenson started getting a little bit.
He killed that man.
Eddie Thorpe.
He murdered that guy.
Eddie Thorpe, if you don't know who he was outside of WWE, which you guys don't pay attention to New Japan or the dojo, to my knowledge, he was very sought after. Brought him in, kind of made him a weird gimmick, did a great job. And then Damon Kemp, who was a part of Diamond Mine, whatever,
Yeah.
again, not a big deal. They killed it. They did a really good job. They are including a lot of people who are not wrestlers on the indies and making them into stars, which I really like.
Yeah.
Related but unrelated this week. An second generation individual was spotted at the Performance Center training this week.
I did not know this. Who was this?
Brian Pillman Jr.
He's at the Performance Center already?
He was at the Performance Center as of Wednesday or Thursday.
I know his AEW contract was up already.
And Tony
Wow.
Khan said he's welcome back anytime. But
Well, if he's going to the Performance Center, we'll see what happens.
see, they did this same thing though with who's a better wrestler in my opinion, but that's up for debate. Whatever. Colby Corino.
Yeah, Colby Carino's in the system right now for WWE's
He's not
developmental.
anymore.
Oh, did he leave already?
They signed him without and didn't put a notice out. Colby's been in NWA stuff.
Oh,
So I'm like, oh, they just let him go.
I guess.
He's a
We'll find
great
out.
athlete, and we've seen
Right.
him wrestle in person before. He's really good.
Yeah, we'll find out. But enough about NXT and Maxine Dupree and all of that. After that, we got the promo segment between Ricochet and Logan Paul. I think this pushed this feud a little bit more forward. I think it did all right. Ricochet did his cool front flip again.
And Logan Paul took off his sunglasses in slow motions. Like, bro, that was freaking tight.
Cinematically, yeah, it's all there.
Give Ricochet something. I'm fine if you give Ricochet something that's
He
not
gets
for
he
title.
gets something, and that's cool. That's awesome. But like, that's not something I'm. If you tell me that's the opening match of SummerSlam, I am not rushing to watch SummerSlam as soon as it starts. That doesn't move anything for me. But that's me.
Yeah, we'll get to the prediction of who we think is going to win that later. But moving on, Drew and Riddle defeats Imperium.
Yeah.
And specifically during their exit, Kaiser and Gunther leave Giovanni Vinci behind.
Kaisi and
Sad.
Gunthy.
Gunthy and Kaisi left Giovi behind. I tried. I couldn't. I'm sorry.
Geo baby.
Little Gio.
I think Jesus Christ. An overarching theme of this week's Raw was showing the splintering or supposed splintering of factions. Because you had throughout the episode with Judgment Day's presence, Finn and Damian getting into it, Rhea buttoning it back up, and then something that I really like that they started doing this year, having background segments out of focus for what's actually happening. And
Yeah,
you could
that's
see
really cool.
Gunther reaming Giovanni Vinci with Ludwig just kind of standing by in the background of a segment with Seth, Kevin, and Zammy. So as a whole, seeing the splintering of factions, will they break up? Won't they break up? Cool. I would hope that Imperium doesn't break up because Ludwig and Giovanni are really satellite characters without Gunther.
Yeah.
Comparatively to, say, a Judgment Day or even a Bloodline where every character involved with it is its own character that can stand on its own two legs.
Well, and I think that's because if you look at the Judgment Day and if you look at the Bloodline, even those factions are conglomerations of established characters, but those three in Imperium came up together. So there's no, because all of those people in Judgment Day and all of those people in the Bloodline, at minimum, could go back to whatever they were doing as a gimmick before those factions. Even if it doesn't quite make sense, there's still something there. But that doesn't exist for Kaiser and for Giovanni Vinci. So we'll see what happens, because I'm genuinely interested on what it looks like if one of them has to split off, because they might have to do a whole keep them off TV for 9 months to a year and then repackage and have them come back with like hair or something.
They've tried it before with Giovanni and Ludwig.
Ludwig Kaiser.
When Gunther was in UK, they brought both of them over to NXT US, and then that was kind of weird.
Well, wasn't there a rumor too of someone replacing Giovanni? Who was supposed to replace him?
I remember reading that, but I cannot recall.
Yeah, there was someone, because JD McDonough is the Judgment Day one.
Yeah.
And there was another one for Imperium that they were like, oh, this
That's
person
already been called up?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. Ilya Dragunov?
Maybe.
Oh, no. Don't do that. Boo.
It would make sense.
You know who Ilya Dragunov is?
Yep.
He is the junkyard dog, like, in terms of just rough and tumble, beating everybody. Doesn't care if he gets his butt whipped.
He's
the last person to tap out, Gunther.
Uh-huh.
He's also just everything. He's everything Butch wishes he was still doing as Pete Dunne.
Yeah. But better. Don't at me.
Bold.
Very bold.
Absolutely.
Bold.
Very bold. For the winners of that match.
Yeah, Drew and Riddle.
I think Riddle is going to be a vehicle that gets us a Randy Drew feud before the end of this year.
Do we want that though? What did that do for either of them?
Randy, it gives him something if this is truly the twilight of his career.
Yeah.
Drew works better as a heel, in my opinion.
I do agree with that.
I do want like a heel.
It worked as a face when like he and Sheamus were a unit, and they also kind of had their minions in the Brawling Brutes.
Yeah.
But Drew as a standalone face has been buried in my mind ever since Roman Reigns said, "You'll always be my number 2."
Yeah.
I don't think face Drew has like truly recovered from that, and that sucks because he carried during the pandemic year, but that's just what it is. His style, his action. The glass cow kiss is not a face move.
Yeah, that headbutt. Yeah.
It's not a face move. Traditionally, big boots aren't face moves. It's just big guy heel moves. And he's launching his body weight at him. So I personally would love to see a heel Drew, because that's something that feels substantial to a main title picture that gives, say, heel Drew wins next year's Rumble and anti-hero Seth Rollins needs somebody for Mania.
Yeah.
That works.
Well, and I think they could even use the World Heavyweight Championship to give Drew a world title run in front of a live crowd again. You know, I think
which he deserves.
Yeah.
I'm not really bought in still. If I'm going to be honest, I want Drew to be a world champion, but like
I do too.
It seems like their big program, maybe him beating Gunther. Maybe
for the IC belt. I mean,
that's it. I think he's the guy.
If that's the catalyst to put Gunther in the main event, though, then all right.
By all means.
Yeah, I think he's the guy to beat him, which is great. In my opinion, that's the second most important person you can beat in the WWE right now.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's really big for him. And honestly, the fact that the honky tonk, no offense to the honky tonk man, his wrestling style.
Full offense to the honky tonk,
but
man.
like, How? How has he held the record this long?
Because they wouldn't let Chris Jericho or The Miz do it.
Okay.
The last two people that were the ones that made the IC belt important before Gunther.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else who made the IC belt important.
Even Seth didn't do a good job of it.
Mm-mm.
John Cena's never had
could
it.
have broke that record, in my opinion. I thought he was the guy when he got the belt.
He could have. He could have. But like, when you think of the Intercontinental title, the top two people that you should think of in terms of who made that belt relevant was The Miz and Jericho. If you want to go classic, you think of Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go modern, you think of Gunther. Like, if actually I skipped a step. Sorry. If you want to think between classic and between Jericho and Miz, in
Shawn.
between that you have Shawn and Razor. Like, there are specific people throughout the history of the IC belt that you should think of depending on what time era, and that's like the who's who, right? There's a couple small time, I don't even want to say small time because I feel like it downplays them, but there's a couple people that held it that were good but never got their rub in the main event, like Mr. Perfect.
I wanted to, since we're on that, the most disrespected superstar of all time. Who is it?
Dolph Ziggler.
Okay. In my opinion, there's a tie then.
Okay.
It's Owen frickin' Hart.
Yeah, well, look, if Owen had the time, like there's a difference.
He had plenty of time to hold that Intercontinental title and do so much with it, and then they were having, like, Shawn was on the cusp of becoming a main eventer. That was his title at that point. I'm like, just give him, like, let him ride with that belt. Should have been his belt if you want to do all of this stuff. And same thing with Dolph. Like, at least let him have it. Just give it to him. He deserves something, which was what we think about Austin Theory.
Oh my God.
I respectfully bow out of any Owen Hart conversations.
Out of respect to Owen Hart, or because you don't know enough?
Moving on.
Okay, fair enough.
I study enough to where I feel like,
Yeah.
Ask me again off camera.
Fair enough. I know what you're gonna say. But last segment before we move on to SummerSlam predictions, Judgment Day actually goes over on the champs of Raw.
Big
win.
Big faction win.
Yeah, big win for Judgment Day. They beat they beat Seth, they beat Sammy, and they beat Kevin in a 3-on-3 tag team match.
Sammy took the pin.
Sammy took the pin from Finn?
Yes.
okay.
Sammy ate a choke slam and a coup de grace after Rhea interfered to block his haluva kick on Dom.
Yes.
So,
Mommy saved Dom.
Dami, do you think Dami deserves a treat of the women's title sometime soon?
Well, earlier in the same episode,
Yep.
Rhea told Kevin and Sammy that her and Dom were going to beat them because since getting out of prison, Dom has been on top of the cardio.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been laying it on thick for this. It is one giant middle finger to Buddy Matthews. That's what it is, right? Wait, what's his name now?
Buddy Matthews.
But okay, I got it right. I thought I said the wrong name. But like, it is just one giant middle finger to him at this point, right?
Well, Dom has a girlfriend.
Dom has a kid.
Oh, I didn't know
Is he
Dom
really?
had a child.
Dom either has a kid or his partner is pregnant.
I did not know that.
Yeah, like they both have very stable relationships outside of this, so it's like not the biggest deal. But Dami needs a treat, in my opinion. You know?
What's a good treat
He'll
for
get a
Dami?
treat of a tag team title reign with Mommy.
I think he needs the women's world title.
Dude, hold on, if Dominic Mysterio and Rhea
That'd
Ripley
be the most heel thing ever.
beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag team titles, I don't know how I would feel because the fantasy booker in me loves wild crap like that, but the Sammy and Kevin fan in me is like, they deserve better.
I mean, a literal child one, so like you think Rhea would be able to get a belt out of it too.
Shut up.
You want to know why you're really upset? I'll tell you exactly why you're upset. Kevin and Sammy's statures for their body of work in WWE don't deserve that. But as a wrestler right now, Rhea is better than all three of them.
It's this is in the same vein of what you were saying. What I thought you were going to say was, and this is true, there's a not 0% chance that it happens. And
Also,
that's why I'm upset because the odds of it happening is not flat 0.
Just say it.
Dami and Mommy could be the tag team champions.
And what does Dami need?
Dami needs a treat, man.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That's right. Your turn.
They are going to move so much merch if they get a tag team title reign.
Okay,
my
but what does
God.
Dami deserve?
Dami gets everything that he deserves, according to Mommy.
But he wants something specific. What does he want?
It's a treat. I'll say it for him. It's a treat.
It's a spanking, according to Seth Rollins.
Oh, that's true too.
Dami probably gets those plenty. Like, he's fine.
Ugh. All right, well, that kind of rounds out everything going on with Raw and SmackDown. We'll spend the next little while doing SummerSlam predictions. So,
The Rock will appear. I'm
Yeah.
calling it now. The Rock will appear.
yeah, but against who though? Because
So over this past week on social media, Grayson Waller posted a little video. The Rock commented on it, to which Grayson Waller then responded with another video. Or no, it was actually during his promo on
Raw.
SmackDown,
Or
where he
SmackDown, yeah.
said, "If you smell what Grayson Waller is cooking."
yeah,
And due to the real life things going on right now with the screen actors and writers being on strike from Hollywood, there is a not 0% chance we are going to get something with The Rock and Grayson Waller at SummerSlam, because there's nothing right now that looks like it could fill that time killer spot.
Well, and the thing is too, I think Grayson Waller said something to the tune of, "If you have a problem with it, you know where to find me." Like, I think he kind of went through that whole thing with him. So
I don't know, dude. I wanted him to appear at Mania. That didn't happen.
yeah, don't get your hopes up, but the stars are starting to align.
And unlike a Mania, The Rock is actually engaging.
Yeah.
We only see him when he actually engages on stuff. Outside of when he, Austin, and Hogan had like that moment at Mania, unexpected
Yeah,
in the ring. Excluding that, if Dwayne is engaging in whatever medium, we're gonna see him.
yeah.
So do you think The Rock needs a mouthpiece this time around?
Well, I know he's related to someone that would be a really good mouthpiece for him, and her name's
What's her name?
Nia Jax. Clayton.
Thoughts?
Clayton.
No,
Clayton.
seriously.
On
thoughts?
to other SummerSlam
Yeah,
predictions.
so we'll do the obvious one first. Cody versus Brock. We assume Brock's gonna accept that challenge, and they'll do.
I still need
You
to
think there will be gimmick?
So allegedly a couple weeks back, the reports from Wrestling Observer was that the stipulation in this third match was going to be a stipulation that has not been used in a while, but it specifically was not going to be a belt buckle, or I forget what the match type is called.
Strap match?
Strap match.
Strap match or dog collar match?
Doc, I can't. Let me look
Those
it
are
up.
those are
Probably
two
dog
different
collar
matches.
match. I think it was dog collar match.
But they're not. Cody specifically has said he's not doing that. But it's
Okay.
going to be something else. But I don't know what else it could be that would like
Yeah.
stimulate the mind.
It's something where they're attached to each other. Crazy.
That makes me think the cowbell match, and I don't want to see that.
What was that match called? The Texas Bull Rope match?
Yes, Texas
With
Bull Rope
Dusty
match.
and Randy in 2007.
Yeah, that Dusty should have won.
Yeah, because
I was
that's
upset.
literally his match.
I was upset when Dusty lost that match. But that's because there's a special place in my heart for Dusty. He's goated
Yeah,
for me.
he
He's
is
all time.
goated. Duty's call, by the way. Hi, we'll be right back.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were actually stepping away. Okay. Well, not to ruin the experience, but we are in the same room. Are you looking up which match it is?
I sure am.
Well, while he's in the kitchen doing something, and while he's looking something up, you and I can talk for a second. Hi, I'm Randy. And what we have here, what?
Dog collar was rejected by Cody. Bull rope is what's allegedly in the works.
The bull rope match?
Yes.
I think that would be an alright match. I would watch Cody and Brock in a Texas bull rope match.
And they're also going to do multiple main events again for SummerSlam.
Well, yeah, we need to just get used to the idea of multiple main events moving forward.
I hate it.
Why?
Because it's not another main event if it's the first match. If it's literally any match that's not the last match,
it's not a main event.
Or
I
the
agree.
second to last match. Like I'd be fine with your multi-main event concept if the second main event happened right before the actual main event, kind of like how UFC does it for not scripted stuff. Like the co-main event of the evening. Like, cool, I can accept your multi-main event.
Yeah.
But just, oh, well, the first match of the night was one of the main events, and the fourth match after our third horrible match on the card is the other main event, and then we have our last match, which is the final main event.
Yeah. Well, if they do it in the right order, then double main events are fine with me. But as we move forward, so Cody and Brock we talked about. Ricochet and Logan Paul, I assume they're gonna have a match at SummerSlam. Spot Fest or
Logan better
technical
win.
match?
That's one I want him to win.
It's going to be a spot
You
fest.
hate Ricochet.
I'm over Ricochet. It's not that I hate Ricochet. It's like if you were gonna do something with him, you could have done it.
He had an IC belt title.
He had a US title run, which was pretty good. That was about it.
He's halfway to Grand Slam.
And no, I'd throw up if he won Grand Slam.
But
look, he's just cringing thinking about it.
What do we think is going to
my
be?
leg.
What do we think is going to be the actual women's title match involving Asuka? Like, who do we think is going to be at
Asuka
SummerSlam?
versus Bianca versus Charlotte.
Yeah.
Triple threat, and then
Yeah.
how does Io Sky play into that? Does she cash in or no?
No cash in.
Why?
Because she doesn't need to yet.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not going to overshadow Charlotte Flair with something happening after the match unless Charlotte wins and Io cashes in on Charlotte.
I could see that because then she'll be a 15-time world champion, and Io doesn't cash in on Asuka. So now with Io as champion, you could do Asuka versus Io and just have that moving forward. And Bianca can take a break because she probably needs one.
Car crash is what that is.
Nikki ASH's one women's world title win is better than all of Charlotte's 15.
In terms of length, maybe.
In terms of just being better.
I cannot believe I'm having to defend Charlotte Flair on this podcast.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, why would you put
Nikki ASH?
Yeah.
You said that with full chest?
Also, ASH stands for almost superhero, by the way.
Yeah, Nikki Ash. All right, moving on.
I didn't know that, and you have permanently devalued that character in my
You
mind.
just thought her name was Ash?
I played WWE 2K23 religiously, and that is what she is called on there. And all I think every time is, that's a stupid name.
Do you actually still play it?
Yes. And
23?
yes, and all its terrible server issues.
On PC?
No.
Oh,
Eddie, I play it on my Xbox.
Okay, moving on. We United States title picture. LA Knight goes over on Austin Theory, and we just have that moving forward.
Let's talk about Austin Theory again.
LA Knight wins the Austin Theory Invitational and sacrifices Austin Theory at the altar of a push to the moon.
Actually, just real quick, Eddie, where is he from? Where is Austin Theory from? Because I don't remember.
If you guys don't know this, he's from Atlanta, and believe it or not, it is on the Jumbotron. It just
Oh my god.
just says it basically. He should just have the Titantron say, "I'm from Atlanta," not the Titantron. Sorry,
Yeah.
can't have everything we want, but
Yeah.
he's from Atlanta. If you guys didn't know,
What do we think is going to happen with the Judgment Day at SummerSlam? Do we think they're going to have any type of match with anyone? Think tag titles or what?
I don't know. They're not
Because
really.
Finn, I don't need Finn versus Seth again. I'm not necessarily.
I think we're gonna get Finn versus Seth again. Demon.
Why? So he can lose two big four pay-per-views in a row?
It's either he loses 2 big 4 pay-per-views or Finn goes over and then Damien cashes in.
Yes, those are the only two options.
Yeah, those are the only 2 options. What?
Good
Why are
for
you being
you.
weird?
Incorrect.
What? Third option? Surprise third option?
Is this Domi's treat? Is that what you're about to say?
Dom goes over on Seth Rollins.
Why would Dom and Seth go? Oh, well, never mind. They've been doing that program.
Domi's that guy. What can I say?
But I mean, Drew versus Gunther. Gunther's probably gonna win that. I don't see Drew doing anything. Do you think they're gonna have a Letterman jacket on a pole match between Valhalla and Maxine Dupree
At SummerSlam?
Yeah,
That'd be
why
cool.
not? Wouldn't that actually be kind of cool?
They need a gimmick match, so sure.
Yeah, and just put it on
Do
a
they
pole.
need a gimmick match?
Yes, I think
What
every
was the gimmick match for SummerSlam last year?
Judy Bagwell on a forklift.
Who?
Sorry, that's a really old reference.
I don't know what that meant.
Well, Clayton doesn't like it when I explain old WCW stuff, but that's a real match.
Buff Bagwell's mom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a real match in WCW between Buff Bagwell and someone I don't remember, and it was called the Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
Yeah.
And it was Buff Bagwell's mom on a forklift.
my
And they had to lower her.
Henry go over to WCW to take someone else's mom, essentially? Oh.
the look on my face was because I knew exactly what you were talking about, and how dare you?
I'm
Judy
sorry.
seems like a nice lady.
Was. Sorry.
Oh my,
As we move forward.
been really on edge lately.
Yeah, I know. Bloodline stuff. Jay versus Roman title match.
Yeah, Jay versus Roman.
Who wins?
Not Jay.
Not Jay.
No.
Not Jay.
I don't think so.
Is
Not
okay.
Jay walking out of SummerSlam with the belt. That is the least likely outcome.
So then, at this point, whether it's at SummerSlam or anywhere, who at this point, who takes the belt off Roman?
Cody at 40.
Cody at 40?
Cody makes the most sense. Is he going to win the Rumble again? Is that what's going to happen?
No, the Rumble winner will probably just challenge Seth.
Oh, okay.
They'll avoid that altogether.
Yeah, but does that mean he gets to jump shows? And, like, wouldn't it make, like, the structuring doesn't make sense.
Look, we're already a couple months past that draft, which means we're already into people can start breaking the rules.
Right, okay.
Why? Let me flip your question on its head and posit it back to you. Why, if not Cody, who would win the Rumble? Because there's nobody else strong enough that hasn't already won
No,
it.
I'm not saying Cody wouldn't win the Rumble. I'm not, or like Cody,
Mm.
I'm not saying someone else wouldn't win the Rumble. There's nothing wrong with that. But Cody's on Raw, Roman's on SmackDown.
He's
That's
going to
fine.
have this mid-card belt after SummerSlam, so he's not winning the Rumble.
Just, I
He's,
don't.
he's
If he doesn't win, is what I was going to say. If he doesn't win.
If he doesn't win at SummerSlam, he's going to win at Survivor Series. At minimum, between Survivor Series and through the beginning of the Men's Royal Rumble, he will be U.S. champion. At a minimum.
All right, fine.
Fucking who?
What I was going to say was that LA Knight, if he loses at SummerSlam, would win the Rumble next year.
Oh, no, I don't think that.
I would like that.
I would love that.
I would
That
love
would
that,
hit
but
like
that-
crack in the 80s in my veins.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do it.
No, I don't think that at all.
Could you imagine just up on the, because hear me out, it would be perfect. He would literally go LA Knight pointing at the WrestleMania sign. It would be perfect.
Now, this is kind of going against my theory because I really don't think Cody's going to have the title going into Survivor Series, and they can't do the Roman versus Cody thing that I had thought.
Yeah.
I just, now the way everything's being structured, I'm like, Cody's not winning the title. He might. There's a possibility, but like
He
going
will
from
win a title eventually.
Going from SummerSlam to Survivor Series, I think they're kind of past these 2 to 3 month title reigns for right now.
Oh, I mean, if we want to build value in the World Heavyweight title, it needs to start with a 6-month minimum. So
Right.
when did Seth win it?
Like 2 months ago, right?
Yeah, so he could lose it by the end of the year, kind of like what I've been talking about.
But I do think Seth may lose at SummerSlam. I'm kind of on that. I'm not exactly smoking that Seth Rollins pack.
Yeah, we'll see. Thoughts?
I'm not against it
Okay.
if Seth drops the belt.
I'm not at all.
Not against it. I don't see it, but Seth also came out this week and said, "Oh, I want to defend against Cody. I want to defend against Damian Priest. I want to defend against Finn Balor again. I want to defend against Dominic. He just started naming off like the top 7 to 9 male wrestlers on Raw.
Let Prince win the belt. Just let him win.
Prince.
Priest.
Oh,
Prince.
as in Balor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
I was like, as in Prince Devitt. I was like,
Well,
what?
his nickname's also Prince.
Oh,
like-
yeah, I've seen it on the
Prince
Tron.
don't miss, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were
Let's
talking
not
about.
miss the
No, I
point.
thought you were talking about the Pretty Deadly guy. There's one of them has the name Prince, isn't it?
Maybe.
Elliot
You want to talk
Prince
about
or
a team
something
that's going to be a jobber
Yes, boy.
in 6 months, in 6 years from now,
Ooh.
guaranteed.
Dude,
Do the
it's
thing. Do the
that's the
thing.
thing. What thing?
The Pretty Deadly do. Yes, boy, and then they go, ooh.
Ooh, I didn't know that was a thing. I don't pay attention to Pretty Deadly. It's one of two things. They are Pretty Deadly as a gimmick in general is a gimmick of extremes. They are either going to be New Day levels of over, or they are going to be early Viking Raiders level of jobbers. And
They're
nothing in
heels.
between.
They are really, really good heels.
I'm going to replace Viking Raiders because I don't think they've legitimately been given anything to do
Yeah.
anything with. Replace Viking Raiders with La Resistance.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, we could. Well, I don't know. They're a multi-time tag
They
team
are
champions.
I
though.
think the
I would
Viking
say,
Raiders
like-
are multi-time tag team champion
Yeah.
too.
No. What's a good? How about what are their names? What was? Never mind. I'm not going to say
Insane
that.
Clown
tag team.
Posse.
No. Well, yeah, actually.
What?
No,
From what
I was
era?
thinking-
Hold on. I'm gonna
I was-
mega this.
I was thinking, who was Luke Gallows? The Biscuits and Gravy tag team.
Jesse and Festus.
Jesse and Fester.
Fester.
Jobbers?
No, Festus.
Festus. Jesse and Festus to New Day. It's one of those two. They're gonna fall
Yes,
into one of those.
because I can't think of anything that Pretty Deadly could do right now that's going to get more over than Biscuits and Gravy.
Yeah, like it's not
Jesse had
happening.
to hold Luke Gallows' hand to the ring so he didn't get lost.
Festus.
Yeah, Festus.
That wasn't Luke Gallows. CM Punk saved him. There's
Punk did save
that.
him.
By the way, the entire metamorphosis from Festus to Luke Gallows
Also-
is WWE canon
Also,
via
I
CM
don't
Punk.
think CM Punk's that bad of a guy if he saved Luke Gallows.
Yeah.
Unpopular take. Thoughts?
I don't. I
Here are
don't know
my
why you keep looking at me for these violent takes.
here are my thoughts.
I didn't ask you.
Thanks for spending the time to hang out with us. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Eddie, why don't you run us through the socials real quick?
All right. You're gonna follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Follow us on YouTube. Also, make sure to tune in with us every single week on Spotify and Apple Music. We have been Too Heavy Wrestling.
MySpace.com/tooheavy. Are we on MySpace?
Randy's coming out with a new rap. Make sure to follow him on SoundCloud.
Yeah, it's called Randy's Raps, and it's very 80s. Doot doo 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 doot doot doo doo doo. Okay,
We've
fine.
been Too Heavy
All right.
Wrestling. Nice.
All right,
tuning in
thanks,
with you
guys, and we will see you soon.